Hello there. I hope you are doing well. My name is Clarice Linsky, and I am a level 5 IGP student. I am double majoring in environmental science with an emphasis in biology and modern languages with an emphasis in Spanish. So, hello there again. I studied abroad in Alicante, Spain, and I attended the University of Alicante. I've always been interested in the environment, especially as a Flagstaff local. I grew up with the trees surrounding me. I decided to study Spanish because I have Mexican heritage and I wanted to keep this part of my upbringing alive by immersing myself in the language. I think crossing language immersion or language boundaries is an incredibly important skill in order to connect with people and communities on a deeper level. I hope to use my experience in Spain and my immersion in the language and in a different culture to be a launching point for future traveling and collaboration with environmental scientists all over the world to collaborate on global issues. So, my experience in Alicante was life changing, to say the least. I grew tremendously as an individual and met friends from all around the world. I was lucky enough to be able to travel throughout cities in Spain, and my perspective has grown in unimaginable ways, and I am happy to say I feel like a global citizen. During my first semester, I took biology related courses in Spanish, and during my second semester, I worked with an ecology professor at the university. I was lucky enough to work both in the lab and the field. In the lab, I watched recordings of scavenger species eating fish species, and I would note the frequency of them and whether they preferred vertebrates or invertebrates as a food source, and I learned a great deal about their role in nutrient cycling. I also used deep learning modules and technologies to monitor riparian birds and teach a computer program how to identify bird species and their behaviors. Lastly, in the field, I went to a riparian wild preserve called El Hondo, which was north of Alicante, which is where the wildlife recordings from the other projects were from. And here I helped to establish recording devices in the reeds of burned and unburned areas to help determine overall bird biodiversity in these various areas and test sites. So here's a picture of field work. Here's me in the lab with the computer deep learning, machine learning program where I would teach the computer types of species it was looking at and their behaviors. Um, and here is a photo of the deep learning module computer program and more field photos. We went on a boat, the truck we took. All right, so culturally, I saw that many people were a lot more laid back usually than people in the US. There was less of a rush for things. I also noticed that when I apologized for things, people were not as used to this and told me that I had nothing to be sorry about. For example, if I forgot how to say something in Spanish, they were usually pretty relaxed about it. I also noticed that many people prioritized quality social time and used walking, biking, and public transportation a lot more than here. Linguistically, I noticed in Alicante that many speakers would drop the G sound in words. For example, the phrase estoy cansada or estoy cansado for a man, instead of cansado, it would be estoy cansado, and they would drop the D sound. That would happen a lot. I also picked up some slang. For example, the word vale means okay, and people would use it all the time to agree with things. So if you were in agreement, you'd be vale, vale, vale. It was very normal. And I also use the word guay a lot, which means how cool, que guay, tu camisa tan guay, your shirt is very cool. So that was another colloquial term I learned. And I also picked up that when using past tense, instead of using preterite, so if you were to say, I drank something, bebí algo, instead of using this, a lot of people would say, he bebido algo, which means I have drinking something. So they would use that form of the past. It's called past perfect instead of the preterite, which was kind of interesting. It's very Spanish thing. And they also used vosotros instead of ustedes here. That's more common in Latin American countries. So that was something to get used to, especially during when teachers would talk to us in class, because it's the equivalent of saying like y'all here in English and in the United States. So yeah, alrighty. So overall, I'm so incredibly grateful for this experience, and I'm excited to share more about it with you at Summit. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful day.